Listen, it has been a hot minute since I sat down on here and had a good old chat with you. But I have been meaning to make this video for such a long time because I am turning 30 in a few months. I'm fine. Who's freaking out? It's not me. No, actually, you know what? The more you say you're not freaking out about turning 30, the more it sounds like you're freaking out about turning 30. But on a real, I have been so reflective over the past decade. The closer that I'm getting to my birthday, I'm really just thinking about all of the lessons I have learned in this time because I have had a journey and I am such a different person to the person that I was when I was 20. And I have so many things that I wish I could go back and tell my 20-year-old self. So if you are in your 20s, this video is for you. Or even if you're in your 30s and you feel like you can relate to some of these lessons, I just wanted to make a video on things that I wish I knew in my early 20s. So we are going to break it all down. I have written out an extensive list of all of the lessons I have learned, but I'm going to break it into little subsections for you. This is very type A of me. On a side note, I realized I'm actually type C because I always thought I am type A in a lot of ways and I can be super organized, but also I forget everything everywhere and I am quite unreliable. And then I saw on TikTok that there is a thing called type C, which is a combination of type A and type B, and I am that. I digress. Also, yes, I could clip this mic onto myself, but I like holding it. I feel like I have some kind of conviction when I hold the mic. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, let's get into it. Let's stop waffling. First up, let's talk about one of my favorite topics, self-love. I don't know whether this younger generation is a little bit different, and I feel and I mean this in such an amazing way, that we didn't have all of the self-development information and all of the tricks and tips to heal yourself in the same way, so easily accessible as 20-year-olds do have now. So when I turned 20, I had no idea about this stuff. There was really no trend towards self-development. So I don't feel like it was in the forefront of anyone's mind. You're kind of just living your life and trying to have a good time and trying to make it through and figure out who you are and find your feet. But now that self-love is such a huge thing and something that's so widely talked about, I hope that 20-year-olds are much more aware of how they should feel about themselves and the fact that they should take more time to really get to know themselves and build up their self-confidence. So yeah, on that note, we're going to talk about self-love first. The first thing I want to say that I need you to realize is not everybody deserves access to you. When you're in your early 20s, or maybe I should talk for myself because this may not be the experience for everyone, but when I was in my early 20s, I kind of felt like I needed to prove myself to everyone. And that definitely is because of a lack of confidence that I had. I felt like I probably needed to do all these things and do this for this person and do this for that person in order to gain friendship in a way, or in order to gain love. And I also have this quality, and it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, of I really want to help my friends. So if someone is going through a bad time, I really want to be there for them, and to my detriment. And I know a lot of people can relate to this because I would make excuses for people because I understood what they were going through and I genuinely cared and wanted to help them. But at some point, you need to realize that not everyone deserves access to you, and you can feel empathy and sadness for someone who may be going through something. You may be able to understand why they got to the place that they got to and why they act the way that they act. But at some point, you need to set your boundary, and it doesn't make it okay for people to continuously mistreat you. You need to be comfortable with setting your boundary of, no, this is not fair. I am not being treated in the way that I deserve, so I am going to set my boundary here. Remember that no is a complete sentence, and you don't need to give excuses and justify the reasons that you are setting your boundaries. On to my next point, healing is not linear. You are inevitably going to go through things that you will need to heal from. You can protect your peace and set your boundaries as much as you want, but inevitably, you're gonna go through things, and that is just the human experience. That's part of life. It's part of your 20s. It's part of every decade of your life. And you will need to heal from those things. And you will make mistakes. You will try your best to set your boundaries to heal emotionally, to learn how to communicate, you're going to make mistakes. You need to remember that healing is not a linear process. You're going to go in all kinds of different directions before you get to your destination. And even when you get there, you will still slip up. So stop expecting perfection from yourself because it's unrealistic and you're just setting yourself up for failure. Healing is not linear. You need to accept that, and it's okay, and you're going to mess up and you're going to come back. But the point is that you're making a gradual upward line. You don't need to go straight up to the top. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Don't expect it. On to my next point. You can be soft and assertive at the same time. I dislike this narrative that being bitchy and temperamental is like cool and the right thing to do, and that makes you like a strong, empowered woman. What I picture here is like the Duchess from The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wake up, you piece of shit!
Ow!
Who's Venice? Huh?
Who?
What are you, a fucking owl? Who is she?
I don't know.
Some little hooky you were fucking last
What the
night?
fuck are you talking about? No way, baby, no!
You were calling her name in your sleep.
She's hot. We all know it. Like, she is sexy. She asserts herself. She's got a temper. And you can see how in that situation, you're like, yeah, I want to be like that person. In reality, though, you can be soft. You can be vulnerable. You don't have to turn the house upside down in order to get your point across. And in all honesty, you're going to get a lot more out of your relationships if you learn to be soft, vulnerable, and able to communicate your emotions in a calm and concise way rather than screaming and shouting. I think you're going to learn over your 20s that communicating effectively changes your relationships. You could love someone with all of your heart, but if you don't know how to communicate effectively with that person, you may end up completely ruining that relationship because you simply don't know how to communicate what you're trying to say. It's much more effective to be able to communicate in a calm way, get your point across. You can still be assertive without being angry and shouting and yelling. And it is one of the most important things that you are going to learn for your relationships in your 20s. On to the next one, which I say all the time, comparison is the thief of joy. I know it is so difficult not to compare yourself to people, whether it's your friends, whether it's people online, but you need to remember that you only see maybe 20% of that person's life and you see 100% of your life. You know all of your deepest, darkest secrets. You know all of your insecurities, and you're comparing the 100% of yourself that you do know to the 20% of someone else that you see, whether online or in real life. If you keep comparing yourself to people throughout your life, you will never be happy because you are comparing yourself to a curated version of a person. Trust me when I say this is completely unattainable and you're not going to be happy. You need to take a step back, look at it from a wider lens, and realize that you have so many things to be grateful for and happy for. And happiness and gratitude are not a destination. They are a choice that you make along the way. Okay, you know I had to make a section on health and wellness. Let's talk about it. Your body is going to change in your late 20s. I definitely have talked about this before, but I swear I went through a second puberty in my late 20s. And I searched it when I thought I was going through this, and it turns out that I'm definitely not alone, and a lot of women have felt this. Please embrace the change. It's okay to not look like your 20-year-old self. And in fact, I prefer how I look now to how I looked in my early 20s, but at the time of the change, absolutely hated it. Couldn't understand what was going on with my body. And I can't even really explain. I feel like if you've gone through it, you'll understand. I just feel like more of a woman now, and I love it. Even down to my voice. If you play a video of my voice from my early 20s, I sound completely different to how I sound now. What I'm trying to say is, if you do go through this second puberty or you go through this change in your body in your late 20s, just know that it's normal, embrace it. You are coming into womanhood. And I know that sounds so intense, but it's really exciting. And you become a much more confident version of yourself if you embrace that change rather than resisting it. Listen to me very carefully on these two, because I know you don't think it matters in your early 20s, but sleep and hydration are so important. And you will thank yourself in the long run if you make sure you're getting enough sleep, especially as a woman. Women need sleep. Women need more sleep than men. They need that time to recover. You need to look after your body in that way. Your skin will thank you if you stay hydrated. I know it doesn't seem like it's that important right now, but trust me, you will feel fine until one day you don't, and then you'll wish that you looked after your body. Your gut is your second brain. Your gut and your emotions are so closely linked. I need you to make sure that you're looking after your body, you're fueling your body with the right things, you're feeding your stomach the things that it wants. Again, I know you don't think it matters when you're in your early 20s, but looking after your body when you're younger, you will thank yourself so much in the long run. Most importantly, your cycle is your fifth vital sign. If you don't listen to anything else I say in this little section, listen to this one thing: learn about your cycle. If your periods are irregular, go and see someone about it. Educate yourself on your cycle. I read a book called Period Power. I'll put that book right here. This book alone triggered me to create an algorithm on my app which allows women to track their cycles and work out in tandem with their cycles. That's how much this book changed my life. I implore you to find out about your cycle, learn about your energy levels in the different phases of your cycle. It's so important as a woman to know what's going on there because it affects you so much more than we're taught. The way that your cycle affects your mood, your strength, your energy levels is insane. And the fact that we are not taught about this in school is absolutely ridiculous. So learn about your cycle and learn about what that really means and how it affects your body. And if you want a cycle sync, obviously download Cloud9 Collective and go onto the cycle syncing guide. Okay, girlies, we are on to career. Just to give you a little bit of context, I originally studied fashion at university and I intended on going into fashion, either going into styling, creative direction, or starting my own clothing line. I then went into the industry after I'd finished my degree and realized that I didn't like the industry and I didn't want to work in it. At that point, it was such a scary moment for me of I really want to do something that I love, but I also want to do something that is like a lucrative business and that will make me money as well. I wanted both. I was like, I don't just want one or the other. And I didn't know at that point whether I should just stay with fashion because I do truly love it, but I didn't really like the industry and I didn't believe it was going to give me the financial security that I wanted. So I made a decision. I think I was like 23 or 24 and I was like, I don't like this industry. You know what? I'm just going to cut my losses. I'm going to go into health and wellness because that is the other thing that I'm genuinely really passionate about. I feel like I have a purpose there with helping women. I'm just going to do it. And I dove all in. I took a PT course and I became a trainer. I guess my point is that if you go into a career or you start your early 20s thinking, I want to do this, so I'm going to do this, and then you realize that it's not actually making you happy, this is the only time probably in your life that you don't have any strings attached and you are in a position that you can just change your career. So use this time and take advantage of that fact and experiment and take those risks. And I know it's scary, but you're gonna regret it so much if you don't do that whilst you can. Your 20s are for exploration and they're for making mistakes. They're not for perfection. And if you realize that you've gone down a wrong path, this is your time to say, you know what, actually, I'm just gonna take a little U-turn because I don't think I'm happy here. I truly had to learn this one the hard way. Burnout is not a badge of honor. Listen, when I started Cloud9, the way that I worked was not healthy. Like, I genuinely did not leave my desk for months. I didn't do anything else. I was laser focused on my business. And I thought that was a good thing. I was like, wow, I'm so committed. I'm so motivated. I really have like this passion for this thing and nothing else matters. And I'm laser focused. I thought that was the best thing in the world until I realized the burnout that I got from that, the way it affected my skin, my body, my mental health. Like, it ruined every other aspect of my life, how laser focused I was on my business. It is so important to take breaks and also prioritize your mental health, prioritize your friendships, your relationships. All of those things can't just be completely thrown to the side. Obviously, if you have something that you're truly passionate about, that is amazing. But I need you to realize that going without taking a break is just going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to hurt your business in the long run, and it's going to hurt every other aspect of your life. So take breaks. You don't get a badge of honor for working for months on end without any breaks. Lastly, financial wellness will contribute to your emotional wellness. Learning how to save, budget, invest when you're this young will build you freedom in the long run. If you get to a point in your 20s where you start making adult money, I know it can be so easy to think it's like Monopoly money and you just want to go shopping with it all. But I promise you, you will thank yourself so much in the long run if you educate yourself on this stuff now and make smart choices from the get-go rather than trying to clean up the mess 10 years down the line. Let's talk about personal growth because you are going to do a lot of this in this decade. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I am not the same person that I was when I turned 20. You are going to change so much in this decade, and I need you to embrace that change rather than being scared of it. There are things about yourself that you will have told yourself since you were a kid, and you might grow up and realize, like, actually, I don't think I am that person anymore. And that's okay. Don't cling on to old versions of yourself and old identities just for comfort. You truly need to embrace all of the changes that you're going to experience in this decade. On that note, you're allowed to change your mind, whether that's about your career, whether that's about relationships, whether that's about friendships. You are under no obligation to stay in something that is not making you happy. I reiterate, this time is for messing up. This time is for changing. You need to embrace those changes and realize it's okay and it's completely normal to change your mind on things that you thought you maybe would never change your mind on. I know in this decade, you have so many big dreams and so many things that you want to achieve, and it can be so easy to get stuck into that cycle or mindset of, I'm going to be happy once I get this thing, or I'm going to be able to relax once I get this thing. But the thing with that is you get yourself into a trap, because I've been there. I thought, I'll be happy once I make X amount of money, or I'll be happy once I get to X amount of followers, or I'll be happy when I get to X amount of subscribers. And then I got to those numbers and the goalpost just changed. And it kept changing and it kept changing. And I thought, like, oh no, that's just because I wasn't thinking big enough. And then I got to the next one and I was like, no, I need to move the goalpost again. You realize that you're never going to be happy. Happiness is not a destination. It's a mindset that you need to practice every single day. And the same goes for gratitude. Practice gratitude every single day. You can still have goals and aspirations and want to work towards those goals whilst practicing gratitude and being appreciative for what you have in the moment right now. And I promise you, your life will improve exponentially once you realize that happiness is not a place and gratitude is not a place that you're just going to get to one day. You need to work on being there now. Lastly, on this little subsection, your intuition, specifically women's intuition, is rarely wrong. You will learn many things about you will change throughout your 20s. One thing that will not change is your intuition. Trust your gut. You may have to learn this the hard way, but your gut is rarely wrong. You need to get more in tune with your body and your intuition and truly trust your instincts, because a lot of the time, your body subconsciously knows something before it comes into your conscious mind. And last up, let's talk about relationships. One of the most important things I learned in my 20s about relationships is that you need to teach people how to treat you. If you keep asking yourself, why do I keep ending up with these people who do not treat me nicely, who don't give me what I deserve? It might sound harsh, but at some point you need to start blaming yourself, because if you set those boundaries from the beginning on how you want to be treated, you wouldn't be in these situations. There are two options here. If you set a boundary with someone, they either respect your boundary and change their actions accordingly, or they don't and show you that they are not your person. It is quite literally that easy. You need to be so comfortable with setting your boundaries and realizing that the right people will respect them and stay, and the wrong people are not meant to be in your life anyway, and you're just showing them the door quicker. I feel like now this is obvious, but you also just need to be reminded sometimes that your partner should bring you peace, not anxiety. Look, I'm all for the exciting beginning stages of dating where there's fireworks, there's excitement, there's butterflies. But the truth is, in the long run, what's truly important is someone who brings you peace and makes you feel safe. Again, I feel like movies and TV shows really do romanticize these kind of toxic relationships. For example, The Notebook. We all know this. They fight like crazy. They make up like crazy. The passion is crazy.
Now I hate you, you slow bastard.
If you leave here, I hate you.
Have you been paying attention to anything that's been happening?
I guess not. I think I must have misread all of those signals.
I guess you did.
Which is great for a storyline, but in reality for you, is that going to bring you peace? Is that going to bring you emotional safety? The answer is no. It's going to give you anxiety. It's going to make you feel uneasy. Remember that your relationship is meant to add so much joy to your life, although of course there will be hard times. You're meant to have peace and safety in a relationship. And lastly, let's talk about friendship breakups, because let's be honest, they hurt just as much as relationship breakups. You're gonna lose friends in your 20s. It's going to hurt. You're gonna end friendships with people that you thought would be in your life forever, and it's gonna really bloody hurt. And the truth is, sometimes it might be your fault, sometimes it might be their fault, sometimes it might just be that you two are not compatible. And sometimes, just like a relationship, a friendship is going to run its course, and that's okay. Just know it's so normal to lose friends in your 20s. And I know it hurts, and I know you don't want it to happen, but it will make sense in the long term. All you can do is take the lesson that you've learned from that friendship, analyze what you could have done to be a better friend there, analyze the signs that maybe they weren't such a good friend to you. Take it as a learning lesson. And trust me when I say new people are going to come into your life. And when you meet people in your late 20s and 30s, when you've already learned who you are, you've already figured a lot of stuff out, you've hopefully already done a lot of healing, those friendships seem so easy and you're almost filtering out all the bullshit because you know yourself so much better. I actually use this analogy that I heard online in one of my best friend's wedding speeches, and it basically compared your friendships. Wait, what was it? This analogy low-key made everyone in the room start crying, and afterwards they were like, oh my God, your speech. And I was like, ah. The saying went that in life you have 3 different types of friendships. You have the leaves, the branches, and the roots. The leaves are seasonal and change with the times. They're bright, they're colorful, they can bring you loads of joy, but sometimes they are just seasonal and they will go away. The branches are a little bit more sturdy, but again, if the wind blows too hard, they might snap. They're not completely stable. And then you have the roots. They're the ones who ground you, the ones that keep you safe, the ones that really help you in those hard times. And I think as you get into your late 20s, you really do realize that not every friend is a root. Some friends are seasonal, and that's okay. You're simply just making space for your next chapter. So yeah, that is everything that I would tell my younger self. If you are in your 20s right now and you feel really lost, just know that it's so normal to feel that way. You're not behind. This is your time to have these feelings, to make mistakes, to take the wrong turns. This decade is uncomfortable and it's about learning, but it is so much fun at the same time. And I'm like looking back on my 20s now and feeling so nostalgic that that decade is over, because although it was super challenging and I did more growth in the past few years than I have done in my entire life, it was so much fun. Like, I had such a good time. I'm so excited for my 30s. Everyone says that your 30s is like your 20s, but you just know yourself better. You've really like come into yourself and learned about yourself. And I'm seeing all these pictures of people in their 30s, and my God, do you glow up when you turn 30? So very excited for that as well. I'm also so interested. Let me know in the comments what you feel like you learned in your 20s or what your biggest lesson from your 20s was. We can have a little chat about it below. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was somewhat helpful for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. And let me know in the comments also what else you want to see from me or what other talking points we can touch on. Okay, I will see you next time. I love you. Bye.